It's 6 in the morning, weekend. Most people are still asleep, but he's already in the garage. Screwdriver in hand, eyes fixed under the hood. The part he ordered weeks ago finally arrived. He waited for it, tracked it, anticipated it, and now here he is in the cold of the morning before even making coffee, ready to install it. His friends don't understand, neither does his family. The car already works, they say. Why bother? But he doesn't even feel the need to answer. Because this isn't just about the car. And somewhere inside him, even if he's never quite put it into words, he knows that perfectly well. When people look at someone who modifies their car from the outside, the first word that usually comes to mind is always the same: excessive, unnecessary, irrational. Why change something that already works? But psychology looks at this question from a completely different angle, because human beings never settle for simply functional. We are creatures that seek meaning, creatures that need to express themselves, and that need for expression sometimes pours into a canvas, sometimes into music, and sometimes into the sound of a car's exhaust. The person who modifies their car is doing something deeply universal. They're trying to make themselves felt. They're creating a space of their own, and this comes from a psychological need far deeper than it appears. In consumer psychology, there's a very powerful concept, the extended self. This theory, introduced by psychologist Russell Belk in 1988, states the following: people see the objects they own as part of their identity. They don't just use them, they identify with them. A car is one of the most powerful examples of this theory, because the car is the space where a person touches the world. You go to work in it, you meet friends in it, you explore unfamiliar cities in it. You spend hours there every day. It's almost like a second home. And just as people personalize their homes, they personalize their cars. But there's a fundamental difference between a car and a house. The car moves, it's visible on the street, it passes in front of everyone. A modified car isn't just a personal preference, it's a public declaration of identity. That lowered suspension, those different rims, that sound system, that special paint color, all of them are messages. This is who I am. This is what I'm saying about myself. Think about Marcus, who grew up on the outskirts of Toronto. He's 27 now, works in logistics, lives a middle-income life, but every month he spends a significant part of his paycheck on his car. The people around him don't get it. You're taking out loans for car parts. Does that make sense, they say. Marcus rarely answers that question, but one day he shared something he'd never said before. When I was a kid, nothing in our house was really ours, he said. We always rented. Everything was borrowed. The stuff, the room, the neighborhood. I could never truly own anything, but the car is mine. Every part on it is a decision I made. For the first time, something genuinely feels like mine, because Marcus isn't buying car parts. He's buying identity. He's buying a sense of belonging, and that is one of the most fundamental psychological needs of any human being. You've probably heard of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs: physiological needs, safety, belonging, esteem, self-actualization. People who modify their cars are satisfying almost every level of that pyramid through a single hobby. The need for belonging is met. They go to car meets, speak a shared language, and are accepted. The need for esteem is met. The vehicles they've poured thousands of hours into are admired. And the need for self-actualization is met. They turn the vision in their mind into concrete reality. And then there's the flow state. Hungarian psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades researching the moments when people are happiest, and he discovered this: when people are at their happiest, they're not resting. They're engaged in a challenging activity that fully absorbs them, one that is neither too easy nor too difficult. Someone working on a car, removing the exhaust system, adjusting the suspension, checking the wiring. Hours pass and they don't even notice. They don't look at their phone, they forget to eat, because they're in exactly that flow state. And that state is neurologically linked to some of the highest moments of happiness. The brain releases dopamine, the reward system activates. It's the same neurological experience an artist has when putting the final brushstrokes on a canvas, or a writer typing the last sentence of a novel. Modifying a car is in essence a form of art. Most people don't see it that way, because when we say art, we think of canvases and paint. But the essence of art is this: taking something mass-produced and making it unique, transforming a vision into physical reality. And that's exactly what the person who modifies their car does. They take a vehicle that rolled off a factory line, one of millions of identical copies, and they transform it into something that exists nowhere else in the world. Every part is a decision. Every change is an expression. Every detail is a choice. And it usually doesn't end with just buying parts and having someone install them. Many modifiers do the work themselves. They watch tutorials, read forums, run tests, make mistakes, and learn. Mechanical knowledge, electrical knowledge, paint knowledge, materials knowledge. Dozens of different skill areas come together in a single hobby. Imagine a car meet on a Saturday night. Cars parked in rows, colorful lights, exhaust sounds, people asking each other questions. From the outside, it looks like just a car show. But for someone who lives it from the inside, it's a ritual of belonging. People who modify their cars form a very special community. This community has its own language, its own hierarchy, its own values. And these values are very different from those of the outside world. Out there, status is determined by job title and salary. In this community, status is determined by knowledge, effort, and creativity. Someone with a high income is no more respected here than an 18-year-old who rebuilt his engine with his own hands. Those who didn't stand out in school, who felt invisible at work, who don't fit the standard molds of success, find their place in this community, and here they are valued, they are understood, they feel like they exist. But do all modifications come from the same place? No. And that needs to be said honestly. In psychology, there's a concept called compensatory consumption. It's when people try to make up for a sense of inadequacy in one area of their life through consumption in another area. Some research reveals that a portion of modifiers feel invisible or underestimated in their professional or personal lives. And the loud exhaust, the lowered chassis, the aggressive body kit become for these people an amplifier. A way of saying, don't ignore me. Do you hear me now? This isn't said to dismiss modification culture. On the contrary, it's said to understand it better, because that impulse is deeply human. We all want to be seen, we all want to be respected. And one of the ways to meet that need can be the sound of a car. Why not? What matters is this, being aware of that need. Modifying your car is beautiful, creative, satisfying. But knowing what you're searching for inside yourself makes that search far more conscious and fulfilling. People who modify their cars are telling us a great deal about human nature. In the age of mass production, in a world where everything is homogenized, where everyone uses the same apps, watches the same content, wears the same clothes, these people are pushing back. I don't want to be the same. That pushback is not a small thing. Making something unique with your own hands is a form of existential resistance. And perhaps that's why car modification culture keeps growing all over the world, because people increasingly feel they don't want to be ordinary. They don't want to disappear, and in their garages, in the cold of early morning, with hands covered in grease, at least over that car, they can be completely themselves. The next time you see a heavily modified car, don't just see the excess. Look a little more closely. There's someone there, someone trying to tell their own story, someone trying to make themselves felt, someone searching for meaning. That car is not just a vehicle. That car is the signature that person leaves on the world. And no matter what path they chose to stamp that signature, the story they're telling is real.